Hello, Laurent Langlais here, astrologer and Feng Shui consultant. Welcome back to my vlog. So this video is about the new month that starts on the 4th of April 2016. This is the month of the dragon. And this time it's gonna be a Yang water dragon month, okay? So last month, the rabbit month, we had a metal on wood clash, and I refer you to my predictions that you can see below on the article on what happened last month, so you can see that my predictions were pretty much accurate on several points, including severe protests between citizens such as farmers, students, on indigenous people versus governments. We also had several terrorist attacks, unfortunately, that I predicted for the rabbit month of 2016. We also had, for example, in entertainment, in box office, Batman versus Superman breaking all records for its first week, things like that. So all of this was predicted in my blog. So I welcome you back for this new month, for this new blog. And this time we're going to talk about the dragon month, that is more or less April 2016. First and foremost, I know that hundreds of thousands of my fans have written to me saying I need to do something about my hair. Let me know that I will address this issue as soon as possible. Alright, so let's move on. Of course, beside my close family, nobody has complained about my hair, so that's a good point. Now let's move on with the prediction for the dragon month. What's the vibe of this month? Where it's not much fun, I must say. Not in terms of disaster or things that are really terrible for the world, although we will have a fair share of unfortunate events, but more in terms of the general mood, because there's so much water. Okay, the dragon itself is an earth sign but full of water, and this time we have the water on top. We also have water combination partly with the year of the monkey and so on. So the fire is really down and the water is overly strong, and it shouldn't be that strong so close to the summer season that will soon start. Okay, so it's not too good to have so much water emerging on top. So I want those vlogs to remain quite clear and simple. So for the technical explanation, I refer you to the full article. You can see the address below, where you will have the technical part about what's happening with the Chinese astrology this month, the 4 pillars of destiny. Okay, all right. So just remember that there is an excess of water this month and also a fire on water clash, and partly some of the metal is gone on converting into the water as well. Okay, so in terms of prediction for the months, we're gonna start with the challenging ones and we will move to the most auspicious one. Okay, challenging one. First and foremost, in terms of natural disaster, we can expect landslide, flooding again, and possibly earthquake. Okay, because all this water makes the earth fairly unstable, and this excess of water is about movement. So the earth will move. Of course, landslide and flooding are given with so much water emerging during the month, but earthquake, if the water moves underground, is possible as well. And even tsunami and tsunami alert or actual tsunami might happen during this month. It's actually quite a likely occurrence to happen this month. Okay, so that's for the natural problems. We already have flooding last month, but for other reasons, I refer you to my previous article, but this month it's about the excess of water. So that's one thing. We will also have a lot of fear in society taking over, because this water in excess can represent darkest part of the human psyche, the fear, the anxiety, and all those things will emerge. So it will lead to several procedures to try to tackle terrorism on a worldwide scale, and fear will partly take over conservatism, on people like Trump or those people with very strong idea of how to handle terrorism in very bad ways will kind of take over this month in the news, and those methods for example, also in Europe, will be well advertised. And I'm talking about Trump's, it's also about the migrants that concern both the US with sometimes illegal immigrants and Europe, of course, with the Syrian crisis and the refugee. So with all this water moving around, it's about flow of population as well. So you can be sure migrants, problem with migrants, overflow of migrants and how countries should deal with those things will be addressed this month. So all the fear around those issues, around people coming from another culture, will for a little while take over, unfortunately, and people not be too level-headed about it. So, aspect about migrants, crisis around migrants will be addressed, the aftermath of terrorism and how to handle it with quite a strong force will be addressed as well this month. Landslide, possible flooding, those things will be addressed. Okay, so all those aspects will emerge during the military operations that could backfire. This is more due to the fire on water clash this month. So there could be a military coup or military operations that backfire. Think about Benghazi in 2012, which was a young water dragon year this time, not just months. This is the type of event we could see emerge this month, and expect some scandals, some coups, some things that are not very nice, not very pleasant between candidates for different election because of this fear kind of taking over on this depthness of the month. Okay, and lastly about the challenging aspect. This month should benefit transport overall, some type of transport, but not so much flight. Okay, flight, plane and so on. So in terms of what circulates in the sky, plane, flight, helicopter and so on, we will have possible problem. I don't hope that there will be a new crash, but you can expect some bugs, some technical problem around plane aviation, those kind of things. Okay, even around birds as well. Birds migrating, because this flow of water can also relate to the aspect of migration of animals. Okay, so all those things will be talked about. And lastly, it is very likely that we have a technical bug also in terms of new technology. One of the giants will have to deal with a bug because of the strong water and fire clash. Okay, so that's for the part that is not so fun. And also, if I want to conclude on this aspect, remember that the month overall is too damp. So for people who struggle with their digestion, who have problem with the intestine, with dampness, that kind of thing, this month is not great. The best thing you can do is to go into a drier climate, eat drier food. So think about food that is baked, for example, that is made in an oven, cooked in an oven, rather than just too watery, because this month is a bit too watery. However, for people who have problem with their kidney and have too much dryness in their chart, and you can of course contact me to order your 4-pillar chart, where this month might come as a relief because it brings some of the water you're lacking. Okay, but this emergence of water in such a strong way can be overwhelming for a lot of people, because water has to do with emotion, with strong emotion. Okay, so it's a month where psychoanalysis and all those process could be extremely powerful, even a bit too powerful for some of us. Okay, well, talking about psychoanalysis and those kind of aspect, we move to the more auspicious aspect of the month, and there are some where we can expect breakthrough in discovery of how the human mind works on three different aspects. First is psychology in general, because water, on the abundance of water, is also about intelligence and wisdom. So it's also very much about the human mind, emotion, and things like that, in terms of how we treat that, how we handle this with science or therapy. So breakthrough in psychology are very likely this month. Breakthrough in the domain of treating depression medically with new out-of-the-box therapy, possibly new medication as well. Although it's quite controversial, this topic of treating depression with medication, but it will be addressed most likely this month. and also on topics that are a bit more borderline, like metaphysics, amongst with such a mythical animals, dragon, and such an abundance of water will benefit aspects that are more metaphysical. So we could hear about crazy things like scientists researching into extrasensorial perception of things like that. Okay, expect a country where there's a lot of coldness, like Russia, to have interesting news in those research, for example, this month. Okay. Also, I was talking about this mythical aspect of the dragon. Well, dragon, it's quite close also to dinosaur. So we could expect a quite interesting discovery in terms of archaeology. But this time around, dinosaur and also shipwreck on things underwater or things that will be unearthed, unearthed. I don't know how to pronounce this. It's too difficult for French. So things that will be discovered in the earth, okay, because of landslide or the earth moving this month. All right, so those are a fairly positive aspect. It's also a month that should significantly improve women's right or woman issue in some areas. So that's an interesting mix. There is too much conservatism on one aspect, on fear taking over, repression of terrorism and so on, but also there is advance in women's right, because the water element to me is a very watery element. Sorry, a very feminine element. Yes, water is watery. In other news, the sun is hot. Okay, so water is a very feminine element, in my opinion, in either type of metaphysics, or it's also linked to the moon and so on. So it's a lot about woman's right, woman issue, woman identity. So woman will be in the spotlight, and advance in women's right, inequality, and those kind of things are likely to arise, to be addressed this month by different politicians, different law, and so on. So that's a positive aspect. We can also expect among these kind of depressive, a bit fear-mongering months, sheer outburst of brilliance, of a brilliant mind of people with very interesting philosophical ideas and ideas about society, movement of human, and so on, because this abundance of water can benefit the wisdom and intelligence in its better form. Okay, also benefit for some form of transport, especially maritime transport. Think about tunnel underground, think about boats or so on, cruise liner. All those things could be having spectacular announcement. Okay, on the migrants, there will be a negative aspect in politics about this, but there could be also a lot of compassion showing this month if people, some people, intelligent people, can benefit from the excess of water for showing more intelligence on those crises. Okay, so those are some positive aspects. I'm looking again at my notes. Yes, of course, the aspect of global warming, sea level rising will be addressed a bit more seriously this month because of this excess of water in conflict with the fire. So that brings some level-headed and intelligent solution about this problem. Well, let's face it, we are more or less screwed, pardon my French, but some people, especially the very young new generation arriving, brings very interesting technological ideas to try to tackle global warming, sea level rising, and things like that, or cleaning of the ocean. You can be sure water stream, river, ocean will also make the news this month for a positive aspect, cleaning of the ocean, aspect to remove some pollution of the ocean. Also an excellent month for oceanography, or discovering species or observing new animal or rare animal underwater. In river, we talk about, for example, the pink dolphin of Amazonia, manatee, or things like that, but also in the ocean, elusive monsters like a giant octopus and things like that could be seen this month, with this combination of the dragon that brings the idea of mythical creature, and the excess of waters that brings exploration underwater. Okay, exploration of the human mind that goes really out of the box. So we talk about possible treatment of psychology, of depression, and also exploration of metaphysics, but beyond that we will have aspects that are more really out of the box in medical science like psychedelics, because this water and fire clash brings this idea of spirituality, emotion, fear, joy, and so on. And this mix can really bring the idea of up and down induced with drugs, but possibly therapeutic treatment around those issues as well. So expect drugs to make the headline for possible medical treatments and research around those things. Okay, well, there is one biggie here that I didn't address yet, and that was pretty much one of the main points of this month. So you can feel that I'm a bit overworked. Well, it's the stock market. Okay, with this excess of water, the stock market might be in trouble. You might remember, if you follow my blog, that I have announced pretty much, I would say, 97% guarantee, unfortunately, a stock market crash for this year in my prediction of about the Yang Fire Monkey year. Okay, but beyond that, economists agree that this crash will happen. It's not just astrology. When will it happen? This is really the big question. This month, it could happen. However, I think what's going to happen more likely is a scare, the stock market being depressed, like pretty much everyone, because of this excess of water and depthness. We're all a bit down this month. The stock market will be as well. I don't think it's a crash of the stock market yet. However, listen to what I have to say here. In my humble opinion, humble for French, sure. In my opinion, let's put it this way, the crash of the stock market is more likely to happen next month. So let's say the month of May, but the Yin water snake month is a biggie for the stock market. If the stock market gets through untouched, undamaged through this dragon or snake month, then it will very likely be September 2016, the Yang Fire Monkey month. Okay, so those 3 months are the trickiest, in my opinion, for the stock market. It's likely that we see the trend developing this month, but I think, honestly, the real problem will be more next month, and then again rebound in September with more problem arriving. Okay, so those are aspects that we will see highlighted this month. Well, I invite you to read the full article to have the technical explanation, and of course, every month, every time of the year is a mix of yin and yang influences on good and challenging aspects. So just don't focus on the negative. There are also a lot of aspects to be hopeful for. Even if this is a troubled world, there is the idea that the humanity is starting to emerge from its sleeping state, and more equality is trying to emerge more strongly in different countries. So we can be hopeful on the long run. On the midterm, it's a bit challenging, but try to create the best possible karma among your friend, family, local community, and then you will be on the right track. Okay, so always a pleasure to be doing those vlogs for you, and I welcome your comment on during the month, your communication about what's happening in regard to those predictions. Thanks a lot, and see you soon, and I invite you to follow my blog for the other part, and to contact me whenever you need your 4 pillars on Feng Shui constellation.